Every November, millions gather to share a meal in celebration of Thanksgiving, a holiday synonymous with gratitude, family, and tradition. But beneath the cheerful veneer lies a story that is far more complex and less harmonious than what history books often teach. Today, we're diving deep into the origins of this American holiday to uncover what really happened at the first Thanksgiving. In 1620, a group of English separatists, later known as the Pilgrims, embarked on a perilous journey to the New World aboard the Mayflower. They sought religious freedom and the promise of a better life. But upon their arrival in Plymouth, Massachusetts, they were met with harsh winter conditions and unfamiliar terrain. Of the 102 passengers who landed, nearly half perished during the first brutal winter due to starvation, disease, and exposure. Desperate for survival, the Pilgrims scavenged for food, even resorting to raiding Wampanoag food stores and graves for sustenance. Part 2. Enter Squanto, the man who bridged two worlds. The Pilgrims' fortunes began to change in the spring of 1621, thanks to the intervention of Squantum, commonly known as Squanto. A member of the Patuxet tribe, Squanto had an extraordinary yet tragic life. In 1614, Squanto was kidnapped by English explorers, sold into slavery in Spain, and later freed by monks who introduced him to Christianity. He eventually made his way to England, where he learned English and worked as an interpreter. By the time he returned to his homeland in 1619, his entire tribe had been wiped out by a devastating plague brought by European settlers. Squanto's knowledge of English and local survival techniques made him an invaluable asset to the Pilgrims. He taught them to cultivate corn, fish for eel and cod, and identify edible plants. But perhaps his most critical role was serving as a mediator between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag Confederacy. The Wampanoag people, led by Chief Massasoit, had their own reasons for forming an alliance with the Pilgrims. Having suffered significant losses due to European diseases and facing threats from rival tribes like the Narragansett, they saw the Pilgrims as potential allies in a time of uncertainty. Through Squanto's diplomacy, the two groups agreed to a mutual defense pact. While the relationship was far from idyllic, it enabled the Pilgrims to establish a foothold in the New World. The event we now call the First Thanksgiving took place in the fall of 1621, following the Pilgrims' first successful harvest. Governor William Bradford declared a day of Thanksgiving and invited Chief Massasoit and 90 Wampanoag warriors to join the celebration. The feast lasted 3 days and featured foods vastly different from today's Thanksgiving staples. Instead of turkey and pumpkin pie, the menu likely included venison, wildfowl, shellfish, corn, beans, and squash. This gathering was not a purely celebratory occasion. It reflected the cautious yet cooperative relationship between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag. It was a moment of shared survival rather than a harmonious cultural exchange. While the first Thanksgiving is often romanticized, the peace it symbolized was short-lived. Over the following decades, tensions between settlers and native tribes escalated. By 1637, during the Pequot War, colonial forces massacred hundreds of Pequot men, women, and children, marking one of the bloodiest chapters in New England's history. Such events signaled the beginning of centuries of displacement and violence against indigenous peoples. For many Native Americans today, Thanksgiving is a reminder of this painful legacy. The United American Indians of New England observe the holiday as a national day of mourning to honor their ancestors and reflect on the true history of the land. Thanksgiving has evolved into a celebration of gratitude, family, and togetherness. For some, it's a day to reflect on blessings. For others, it's an opportunity to honor the resilience and history of Native peoples. As we gather around our tables, it's important to acknowledge the complexity of Thanksgiving's origins. The holiday we celebrate today is a blend of myth, history, and modern tradition. The story of the first Thanksgiving is neither a simple tale of friendship nor a complete tragedy. It's a nuanced chapter in the history of two cultures brought together by necessity and torn apart by conflict. As we celebrate Thanksgiving, let's honor its true origins by remembering the resilience of Indigenous peoples and reflecting on the lessons of history.
Deep beneath the waves off the Kenyan coast lies a mystery more than 500 years in the making. A wreckage, weathered by time and nature, may hold the secrets of one of the most pivotal moments in maritime history, the final voyage of Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama, a name synonymous with the Age of Discovery, was the Portuguese explorer who established the first sea route from Europe to India. This achievement transformed global trade and ushered in an era of European colonial expansion. But while much is celebrated about his achievements, the final chapter of his storied career has long remained shrouded in mystery. Recently, archaeologists made a groundbreaking discovery, a shipwreck off the Kenyan coast that could be tied to da Gama's last voyage. If confirmed, this find could shed light on a tumultuous time in global exploration and its far-reaching consequences. Vasco da Gama's third and final voyage to India in 1524 aimed to solidify Portuguese dominance in the lucrative spice trade. By then, the Portuguese Empire had established trading posts and claimed territories along the African and Indian coasts. However, da Gama's final journey was plagued by challenges, from political tensions in India to treacherous weather on the high seas. The wreck was discovered off the Kenyan coast, near Malindi, a location that was historically significant during da Gama's voyages. In 1498, Malindi served as a vital stop for his fleet to restock supplies and recruit navigators. Archaeologists believe the ship may have been part of a fleet that accompanied da Gama on his last mission to India. Artifacts recovered include ceramic shards, cannons, and navigational instruments. These items are consistent with Portuguese maritime technology of the early 16th century. Ceramic wares. Among the findings were fragments of Ming porcelain, likely acquired through trade. This provides evidence of the global networks established by Portuguese explorers during the Age of Discovery. Bronze cannons. The presence of bronze cannons, with intricate carvings, highlights the dual purpose of these voyages, commerce and conquest. Navigational tools, sextants and astrolabes recovered from the site give us a glimpse into the tools that guided explorers through uncharted waters. Determining the wreck's exact identity is a meticulous process. Archaeologists use a combination of historical records, underwater mapping, and material analysis to draw connections. Carbon dating and isotopic analysis of wooden remnants are underway, aiming to align the wreck's timeline with da Gama's final voyage. If this wreck is confirmed as part of Vasco da Gama's fleet, it would be one of the most significant maritime discoveries in recent history. It would provide tangible evidence of an era that reshaped the world, shedding light on the hardships and technologies that defined early exploration. Moreover, it offers an opportunity to re-examine the impact of European exploration on indigenous communities in Africa and Asia, stories often overshadowed by tales of discovery and conquest. While Vasco da Gama is celebrated for his pioneering spirit, his voyages also brought profound changes, some uplifting, others devastating. The establishment of Portuguese colonies and trading posts often led to exploitation and conflict. Understanding the broader implications of these explorations is vital to contextualizing this historical find. The discovery of a shipwreck off the Kenyan coast invites us to dive deeper into the complex and fascinating history of the Age of Discovery. Could this be a relic from Vasco da Gama's final journey? The ocean, as always, guards its secrets well. But as archaeologists uncover more clues, the answers may finally rise to the surface. Thank you for exploring this incredible maritime mystery with us. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more captivating historical discoveries.